This boy failed every test. His teacher gave up on him. But one day he saw something near a village well, and everything changed. Daniel was 12 years old when he first arrived at the quiet school in the forest. It wasn't like the schools in big towns. Here, students lived with their teacher. They studied, cooked, cleaned, and worked in the garden. It was a place full of trees, fresh air, and the songs of birds in the morning. Daniel came with big dreams. He wanted to learn, grow wise, and become someone his parents could be proud of. The master, a kind and experienced teacher, welcomed him like he did all his students, with hope and warmth. At first, Daniel enjoyed every part of life at the school. He made new friends. He loved working in the kitchen. He laughed with others while collecting firewood. But when it came to studying, something didn't feel right. No matter how hard he tried, Daniel couldn't remember what he was taught. He would listen carefully. He would take notes. But later, the words would disappear from his mind. He struggled with reading. He mixed up letters. He couldn't answer simple questions. Day after day, the lessons felt like walls too high to climb. His classmates started noticing. Some laughed. Others whispered behind his back. A few ignored him completely. Daniel felt small and useless. He didn't want to give up, but he started to believe maybe he wasn't meant to learn. The master saw his struggle. He spent extra time helping Daniel. He changed his teaching methods. He used stories, drawings, even music to help. But nothing worked. At the end of the school year, all the other students passed to the next level. Daniel did not. He was the only one left behind. One evening, the master sat with him under a large tree. "You have a good heart, Daniel," he said softly. "You work hard. But I've tried every way to help you learn, and it's not working. Maybe it's time you return home. Help your family. Perhaps books are not your path." Daniel didn't speak. He looked down at his hands. His throat felt tight. "I tried," he whispered. "I know," said the master, "but sometimes trying isn't enough." Daniel nodded slowly. He packed his things and left the next morning, carrying a small bag and a heart full of pain. The sun was hot. The road was dusty. His village was over 20 miles away. With every step, Daniel felt more alone. His feet hurt. His clothes stuck to his back. But the weight in his chest was heavier than anything on his shoulders. After many hours of walking, he reached a small village. Tired and thirsty, he searched for water. Near the center of the village was a well. A group of women stood around it, drawing water with thick ropes. Daniel walked toward them, hoping someone would share a drink. As he waited, something caught his eye. On the edge of the well, there was a large stone. It looked old and strong, but there were deep marks carved into it. The rope, moving back and forth each day, had slowly cut lines into the hard stone. Daniel stepped closer. How could a soft rope make marks on solid rock? He asked one of the women, "How did this happen?" She smiled. "Every day we pull water. The rope moves across that stone again and again. Over time, it wears the stone down." Daniel stared at the stone. The lines weren't made in a day or a week. They were made over years. With time. With repetition. A thought lit up in his mind like fire. If a rope could change a stone, maybe he could change too. Maybe he wasn't slow. Maybe he had just started too early to see the result. He didn't drink water. He didn't rest. He turned around and began walking back to the school. When he arrived, the master looked shocked. "Daniel?" he asked. "Why have you returned?" Daniel looked him in the eyes. "Because I'm not done. I want to try again. I don't care how long it takes. I just want one more chance." The master saw something different. A quiet strength. Deep fire. He nodded. "Then you are welcome." From that day on, Daniel changed everything. He woke up before sunrise. He stayed up late under candlelight. He copied his notes 10 times. He read each lesson aloud until he remembered every word. He didn't avoid his weakness, he attacked it. The other students began to notice. His reading improved. His writing became faster. Slowly, Daniel stopped failing. Slowly, he began to understand. It didn't happen overnight. It took years. But in time, Daniel became one of the best students in the school. He helped younger students. He stayed patient with others, just as the master had been patient with him. Later in life, Daniel became a respected teacher. He wrote books that were read across the country. He taught thousands of students. His name was remembered in schools long after he was gone. But he never forgot that day at the well. He often told his students, even a soft rope can leave a mark on stone if it never gives up. You don't need to be the fastest. You don't need to be the smartest. You just need to keep going. So if you're tired, if you feel like giving up, remember Daniel. Remember the rope. Remember the stone. Your effort matters. And one day, your story might change someone else's life. What about you? Have you ever felt like Daniel? What helped you keep going? Share your story in the comments. Like this video if it gave you hope. Subscribe to AV Flourish for more real, emotional English stories. And share this video with someone who needs a reason to keep going.